Welcome to the driver's seat. You're looking at the 2024 Toyota Prius Prime. This is a plug-in hybrid. As shown, $43,000. It's the XSE model. So we're going to talk today about mission creep. For 27 years, 5 generations, Toyota's had a mission with the Prius. Affordable, 5-door hatchback hybrid to really introduce this type of technology to the world. And in their peak, they sold well over 200,000 units a year just in the US. This year, they're projected to sell less than 30,000 units. And one thing I can say about all the other Priuses, and I actually owned the second generation Prius, is that they were easy to get in and out of, they were affordable, they were slow, they were kind of ugly, and they had a certain stigma about them, but that's okay. That's what made them a Prius. For this 5th generation, Toyota decided to go sporty. You can see just how much lower this roofline is, and it is sporty. It's actually the fastest Prius ever, and it just doesn't work. This is why they're only selling 30,000 units, because they got away from their mission. It's called mission creep, and along the way, they lost their way in a way. So somewhere along the journey, people at Toyota decided maybe we need to make it sporty and that'll get us more sales, but it really backfired on them. Overall, the vehicle is fine. $43,000 for a plug-in hybrid makes a lot of sense. I would much rather buy one of these than a pure battery electric vehicle. And Toyota, of all the major car companies, has made a bold statement about electric vehicles. Not only do they just have one model as of 2024, but they went on record just this week to say they'd rather pay the fine and buy the credits needed to offset not having enough electric vehicles on the road and continue to make hybrids because they're more profitable, more sensible, and they just last longer. This fits Toyota's QRD model: quality, reliability, dependability. Battery electric vehicles, not so much. So as with all Priuses, it is a 5-door hatchback. Hatchbacks don't work in this country for some reason, but this is the best-selling hatchback ever in America. Hatchbacks are more of a European thing. I like hatchbacks. They make a lot of sense, easy to fold the seats down, put a bicycle down, whatever. The electronics, we'll get inside to do a test drive, are fine. They've done a much better job than in the past. And you even have a little solar panel here to help with some charge. Not a whole lot, but enough so when the car is sitting, the idea is that you actually have the air conditioning turn on automatically so it's not so hot when you get inside. But overall, the formula, at least the powertrain formula, has always been this kind of small internal combustion engine hybrid, and then with the Prime, which has been around now for about 7-8 years, that's the plug-in hybrid. They've done very well with that. This is a great way to test the waters on battery electric vehicles, but not go all in where you're fully dependent on a plug. The interior of the 5th generation Prius has been completely redesigned. It used to be the gauge cluster was in the center, up front, which I like, the fact that it's far away, because it means you're going to keep your eyes on the road, but it was awkward. This makes more sense, and now you have a proper separate infotainment screen. I love the fact that they still have traditional buttons as opposed to everything going into the menu like many car companies have gone to. Right here, this is to make sure that the Prius can see the driver. So if I have my hand like this, which is not proper, then it's going to block it, and it's going to give me an error message, a warning message. But if you put your hand where you're supposed to, then you're fine. And I like that. That's will hopefully teach some drivers, especially younger, newer drivers, the proper hand position. The steering wheel is nice and sporty. I like the contrast stitching. I like the red accents throughout. So they've done some nice things to kind of make it sportier. And that's how they're advertising this vehicle, is now it's fast. It's right in front of us is the last generation Prius Prime, which as you can see is more, is more traditional in shape. to previous Priuses. This one is very unique. But look, I like the new shifter. They finally got away from the traditional shifter they've had for years. All the buttons. I mean, this is a wonderful vehicle. Don't get me wrong. And at $43,000, it's affordable, it's practical, and great. But it just doesn't feel like a Prius anymore. And that's fine. So maybe it'll bring in some new people, but the numbers don't lie. And by Toyota's own admission, their projections are about 30,000 units. So let's take it for a quick drive. One of the knocks on previous Prius models is that the seats weren't comfortable, and that was a legitimate gripe. They've really addressed that with this 5th generation Prius, and I think that's going to serve them well. But then again, people just aren't buying them anymore. As you can see, it's not slow like previous Prius models. I like what they've done. At one point, Prius was going to be kind of its own sub-brand. There was the Prius C, the Prius V, but that is pretty much done now. Suspension is pretty good. Steering isn't bad. There really isn't much to complain about. My biggest complaint is at 6'1", it's not easy to get in and out of this vehicle. I literally had to duck my head every time I get in and out. That is a problem. Even though it really is cumbersome to get in and out of this vehicle because it's got such a low roofline, once you're in here, you have pretty good headroom. This particular model, being the Prime, has the solar panels, no sunroof, so that automatically gives you a little extra headroom. But decent shoulder room. I like these seats. They're very sporty. As you can see, there's a couple of different shades of red in here, and it works. The dash kind of has this anodized aluminum look, even though it's plated plastic. But overall, a great commuter car, great for people on a budget. No real negatives except, again, I mean, you could see how low this roof line is, how much smaller these windows have gotten over the years, and that's to create that sporty look, which is great because it's actually turned heads. It's the first time I can say that a Prius has turned heads, but it has. But it's gotten away from, again, its core, I think, core mission. We're doing 96 right now, and it's smooth. It's relatively quiet. If I just put you in this seat and didn't tell you it was a Prius and you drove it, you would not be disappointed, especially when you saw the price point and the fact that you could get about 45, 50 miles of full electric range. And when you take the fact that you get the full electric range and then add its regular range, it's well over 600 miles. You could take a nice long trip. Now, you can't drive it the way I just drove it. You'd have to kind of stick to the speed limit, but if you can do that, I think you're going to be rewarded with a nice driving experience, and they make sense. Look, when the Prius first came out, there were a lot of questions about the battery packs and the hybrid motor, but they've lasted. There are 10 here. In fact, there's a Prius right there that's probably 8 years old. Still see plenty of them on the road. They've proven to be very reliable, very durable, and still the standard. Toyota is just firmly behind hybrids and plug-in hybrids, and it makes sense. Akio Toyoda, chairman of Toyota Motor, said he can build 50 hybrids for as much as it costs him to build one fully battery electric vehicle. So, again, the Prime, the plug-in hybrids, especially the Toyota's plug-in hybrids, are just a great compromise, a great way to kind of ease into the whole fully electric mode. And if you have a 15, 20 mile commute on a daily basis and have access to charger at home, maybe a level 2 charger in your office, then you're fine. You may not see a gas station for weeks or months. Well, there you have it, the 2024 Toyota Prius Prime, a vehicle that makes a lot of sense, especially in this day and age where the average price of a new car is $48,000, so this is about $5,000 below that, and you got plenty of range. It really makes a strong argument for not buying an electric vehicle. I'm Ron Doran, thanks for watching. See you next time on The Driver's Seat.